Dear Libras, let's break it down. The upcoming summer month, specifically July, man, it's truly a whole celebration happening right here. A joyous occasion indeed. This was in the second half of June, especially at the end of June. It was important to stir up enough passion there. Emotionally, sensually, maybe even a love story. Two planets of happiness, Jupiter and Venus, were in very favorable positions there. The last week of June could have really overwhelmed you with a sense of serenity, an inner guest of harmony. And now in July, that feeling continues in some way. It's quite a peaceful wave, but on the other hand, your main planet, Venus, moves into a new sign. Venus enters Gemini on the 5th and will stay in that energy until the end of the month. Gemini, the sign of Gemini, and this is first and foremost about learning, about trips and adventures, inspiration from new experiences, a whole bunch of new impressions. The main feature of July is its intellectual component. Here, your mind really gets swept up by a huge amount of new knowledge, interesting acquaintances, and an enormous amount of communication. And your Venus is in contact here with the planet of surprises, the planet Uranus. Uranus also moves into the sign of Gemini here. And this theme, let's get fully inspired, let's live out these Gemini stories. And Gemini is a sign related to yours, an air sign, and it resonates with you through this ease of communication, casualness, inspiration for lots of new acquaintances, and a constant sort of flirtatious play. After all, this is probably true for all zodiac signs. June will be remembered as the main month of intense intellectual challenges. It's precisely here that urgent learning is possible. Maybe situations where I dive into a new field and easily, instantly master a new specialty, pick up new knowledge. I find some new professional calling for myself, which isn't particularly hard to learn, and all of July still carries a very important energy. Mars in Virgo, Mars 9, symbolizes a strong intellectual, a person who is fully capable of playing the game, someone who knows what, where, and how, who knows everything about everything, everywhere. June is very good for this, and July is excellent for structuring information. There are many people here whose minds simply amaze intellectuals. People who are incredibly curious and interesting, especially when it comes to the intellect of your conversation partner. It's almost ecstatic, not just because we exist, but because there are such fascinating, truly smart people, and also within the framework of this July. This influence of Uranus in Gemini gives all of us incredible flexibility. Uranus is beginning its new 7-year cycle, and it is moving into the air element, the element of communication. It gives us the talent to be, let me put it figuratively, 3 times more flexible in communication, in interactions, and lighter overall. And to be able to adapt to new circumstances, to the new reality that is coming in 2025, to quickly master any direction at work, or simply to provide us with a lightness that we have been lacking for quite a long time. We were missing that, especially considering that the beginning of the year was rather heavy, emotional, even somewhat depressive in places. So the end of June and beyond, July really picks up the pace and gives a sense that there is lightness, there is airiness, and things are moving fast. There are a lot of interesting things happening, a lot of fascinating learning going on. So the whole month of July unfolds on this kind of drive and enthusiasm. Here, you'll be reaching for the stars, meaning you'll be grabbing brilliant ideas. There will be plenty of insights, a lot of inner freedom, and real freedom too. At times, you'll feel like a genius because there will be so much originality, so many surprises and unexpected things happening in life. At the same time, it will be easy to handle all of this. There won't be any heaviness or fatigue. On the contrary, you'll have loads of energy, just tons of it. At the same time, this is actually quite a big, long-lasting trend because later in August, Mars, the planet of action, will also move into your sign, Libra, and will stay in Libra throughout August and September. You could say that from the end of June, your life started to become more harmonious, beautiful, and pleasant. Here in July, you'll also gain good momentum in your career, and this will continue into August and September. This super dynamic life is picking up even more speed. There's a lot of energy, a lot of excitement in your eyes, and new directions opening up. And these months, July, August, and September, will probably turn out to be the most important for radically changing your lifestyle. First and foremost, this concerns your profession, including adapting to the new reality, to what 2020 has brought. Here, a lot of new planetary cycles are beginning. Neptune has moved into a new sign, Saturn has entered a new sign, and now Jupiter has also entered a new sign, and Uranus later started a new 7-year cycle, so we're literally seeing completely new trajectories begin. And over the next 3 months, June, August, and September, all these trajectories will unfold. Try to really feel for yourself how to fully step out, and you could say that autumn will be like a cafe, a plan, a rocket. How can I make my life more exciting, more interesting? And July is the first main stage of that. That's the general overview of what's happening right now. And in this video about July, I'll break down 5 key storylines. These will be the new moon and the full moon. And each of these storylines, on the one hand, is common for everyone, but it might personally resonate with you. Or maybe this general story won't resonate with you at all. And below the video, you can find a link to calculate it individually based on your own chart. Once you calculate it, you'll be given a list of all the key events of the month. Yes, they are general, but each event will have from 1 to 5 plus signs attached to it. This shows how much this general event for everyone personally resonates, specifically with your date of birth. I also have additional tools in a private Telegram channel where I share forecasts, and there are many extra services. There you can get things that are truly personal to you. You can enter your birth date, get forecasts, and look at the details of events and nuances within a month, a year, or a week. So there are different features. We have charts, and there are assistant-astrologers. In Chaika, there's an artificial intelligence that will help you figure out any topic right away, understand things, and get answers instantly. There's also early access. For example, this video will be available on a private channel as early as June 15th. And only later do I make it available to the general public. So there's a ton of different information there and lots of useful stuff. I'll also leave a link below to my new WhatsApp channel, which you can access if you have WhatsApp registered outside of Russia. But just in case, maybe it might turn out to be interesting and useful for you. That's basically it for the introduction. Let's analyze the events. First, I'd like to start with early July. The spinner is set for July 5th. The theme of the black moon comes into play. The black moon is all about games in emotional provocations. It's all sorts of Brazilian soap operas where it's unclear who's really close, who's not. There's a child. Are they very close, not close? Are they dearly loved? Unloved, the black moon pushes us into doubt. Are these people really close to us? If there's a theme of some kind of emotional deception, the black moon always covers us with certain fears, worries, and hang-ups. The main advice under the black moon is to recognize that you or the people around you might be overly caught up in some emotional issues. And if the black moon plays out to the fullest during the year in October and only in November, that's when it will really show its teeth. That's when it will go wild at 100%. But here, the black moon is more likely just throwing out some provocations. Right now, I was freaking out until the 5th. I was meeting unusual, strange people with whom it's impossible to have a strong emotional connection. But it feels like we're in some kind of Brazilian soap opera where you can't figure out whether you should trust or not. It's all about that. There are some little things, some esoteric types, some strange people with unusual ways. Worldview, the question of trust. At the core, there's a kind of crossroads, basically a dark setting that gets activated here like a gypsy-style fortune-telling, and you could get scammed. But on the other hand, it might be really curious and interesting to take part in all of this. So, on one hand, you should be more careful and not get too hung up on things. Just treat any emotional provocations that might happen here from the 1st to the 5th with a playful attitude. At the same time, throughout the entire first half of July, you're actually someone who claims the role of a genius, the role of a revealer, the person who needs an audience in essence. And these provocations are really simple, and it's very easy to expose and debunk them. You have a certain genius for revealing the truth, so I figured that for you personally, these provocations won't be scary at all, but there might be some situations where you seem to be part of the story. That's the kind of plot twist, and it's a series possibly still relevant for Sagittarius ascendants on the 5th. Let me clarify. The black moon is passing through the 2nd house, and it can directly indicate financial matters and monetary promises. And for the ascendant, it's directly some kind of career story where there's a promise from the boss or some bright, influential person that something will be done. Could be a boss or powerful figures are needed, but on the financial level, this is a career issue where the higher-ups promise more than they deliver. This can also happen for those without the black moon influence. That is, empty expectations regarding some kind of financial income connected to the most influential people. The next significant and highly anticipated event that we have scheduled is set to take place from the 11th day of the month to the 12th day of the same month. This particular event is specifically designed for and will greatly benefit those individuals who possess a foundational understanding and specialized knowledge in the intricate and profound subject of Libra. It is critically important to note and pay very close attention to the fact that within your established and comprehensive timeline, the concept and presence of knowledge in Libra has already been thoroughly integrated and is indeed already present as a key element. Teamer is activated. On top of learning some weekly ideas and the theme that a new class of intellectual challenges is entering your life, there are a huge number of serious people with whom you can undertake major financial projects. This is connected to the full moon happening here and the knowledge of Capricorn, which directly speaks to the fact that there is a serious, hard-working team ready to work, such a team of real pros like fishermen of the deep. A lot of quality results can be achieved, even if at the very beginning of July there might have been some promises under the black moon. Maybe it won't turn out that way because here on the 10th there's a full moon. And everything that happens around this full moon has a very solid, high-quality nature of constructive material solutions, where there are results and where, honestly, everything is real and serious and the outcome is good. Also, during these days, the topic of earnings comes into play. On a larger scale, this might start to come up as early as the 7th, or it could become more apparent closer to the 10th or even the 12th. That is, when it's about not sweating the small stuff and stepping into some bigger, more significant story, where there is a resource of opportunities, especially if it's about CIAN training and related tasks. Intellectually, because throughout July there's a great opportunity to monetize, brains really pay off, especially for people who are intellectually inclined. But the main thing is that this period is directly work-related. For ascendants, since the full moon is passing through the 4th house, this could mean working from home, or it could be some important tasks related to parents, the mother, or the family at home. This is a significant constructive influence in this area. But what's even more important here is that things are happening in the 9th house, pushing you towards education, even higher education. At some point, Uranus is also in your 9th house and can directly push you towards a program to master some new field related to higher knowledge. Here, in principle, this process goes quite easily and naturally. Also, another interesting point is that on these dates, maybe around the 12th, you might uncover some secrets. And this can help resolve certain financial or monetary issues, including those involving a secret partner with whom you have a lot of intellectual exchanges. There are all sorts of discussions, decisions to be made, and also the influence of Mars. This standard is necessary even for those passionate about esotericism. These are the comprehensive thoughts and reflections specifically pertaining to the significant dates of July 14th and July 15th. We've gathered and compiled these insights to provide a detailed overview of the ideas and considerations from those particular days, ensuring all relevant perspectives are included for a thorough understanding. These are dates that reveal a lot. Jupiter, the signs Jupiter in Cancer, this is the sphere of services, care, help, and support for people. So, if during the period from the 7th to the 12th there were a lot of intellectual tasks and a serious team of hard workers with whom together we accomplish various tasks, there's a significant degree of intellectual activity, so there are a couple of purely emotional days. They relate to relaxation, but also to earning money. The 14th and 15th. Everything related to emotions, art, medicine, liquids, or alcohol can be in a pretty good and profitable position. Also, the 14th and 15th are favorable dates for programs involving Jupiter in Cancer. Jupiter in Cancer is about motherhood, the role of the mother and the father, where care is needed, where you need to create some kind of family space and see this as a fundamental purpose of your self-realization. Letters. There is the 17th, essentially those 2 days that say you should invest your emotions and soul. Whatever you do, do it with love, do it wholeheartedly. This is the main layer of these 14. To clarify, here Jupiter is moving through the 10th house. This brings great interest and the opportunity to reach new career heights. It is connected to your career, but this is a career where you need to be emotional, where you need to respond to the needs and hopes of others. And literally, I am involved in a project that helps take care of people, that looks after others. In these kinds of service fields, in these kinds of helping professions, great happiness is found, great luck. And as for the moon itself, During these days, it will be passing through the 6th house. And it's as if you're being told to put a bit of your energy, your creative potential, into your soul, into what you do and love. And for me, it's kind of like work, but on the other hand, it's also about putting your soul into the foundation and achieving success from it. The only recommendations here are that we have 3 career houses, which are kind of activated. There's a section for investigation. The 10th house is recognized, but did you manage to get support or assistance through the program here? This is the 6th house of the work collective, with whom we're friends, making decisions together. And here there's also the 2nd house, which means property, specific cash that you receive, and where the black moon is located. And the situation with things being this way might sound like, there are jobs that give me a sense of calling and satisfaction, but when it comes to the 2nd house, how much actual cash I'm getting from this work, that's still up in the air. That's why it's great if the 4th and 10th houses are activated. You're primarily working for your status and the success of your brand. And it's perfectly normal if the monetization comes last. So the main focus is to invest in your name, in building your brand, and in gaining recognition. The income will come, but maybe only after the black moon leaves the sign and stops distorting the financial process. The next significant phase is the period extending from July 17th to the 22nd. Here we have the main drive. The main adrenaline rush of July is all about intellectual challenges. Venus in Leo continues to be a bright intellectual, attracting interest from those around her. An intellectual environment with a lot of tasks that this brain is overloaded with tasks that demand intense intellectual involvement and that, well, literally require meticulous intellectual analysis. So this is all about diving deep into information, getting buried in systems, accounting, reports, paperwork, grinding away at the details, mastering the knowledge of these documents. Here, this intellectual strength is especially powerful. And most likely, you'll find yourself involved in some big, intense intellectual task, one that's being tackled by others as well. An important feature of these days is that Venus is moving in a loop here between the node of the future and the evil of the past. And you'll feel as if you're at a crossroads, unsure which path to take, whether to align yourself with material, financial trends, or to get involved with some kind of support service, help, or emotional engagement. You'll clearly feel torn here between national interests and local management. And the material side, accordingly, looks more attractive, but in reality, it's not all that solid either. And it brings a lot of inspiration and a sense of soulful fulfillment, you could say. One of the important aspects of this period is the theme of male communities, communities of athletes, communities of smart guys, communities of intellectuals. All these are epithets of the conjunction of Mars and the node of the past in Virgo. And you might end up at some kind of conference, maybe, I don't know, a chess event or something like that. A place that gathers a lot of intellectuals and presents a lot of intellectual challenges. And you can take part in it fully. And there's just so much going on. We're learning from these numbers now. And for us and for Ken, this feeling plays a big role here, number 9. Learning can also happen during trips or travels. Mars also plays a big role in the house, which can bring partners, even some secret romances, intellectual companions, or symbolize work or activities that are key. If you're a real enthusiast, you might relate to this. We're involved in programming and data security, and things like that, or maybe you're communicating with experts. And finally, there's the significant celestial occurrence known as the new moon event, a fascinating astronomical phenomenon which is scheduled to take place on the specific date of July 24th, marking an important moment in the lunar cycle. It's intrinsically connected to a network of influential, strong, and non-authoritarian individuals who are actively shaping the future trajectory and direction for the upcoming 5 to 10 years, influencing significant developments and trends. On this significant day, a powerful impulse is truly set, and a strong, deeply willful motivation is firmly established. Most likely, it won't be you who creates it, but there will be strong people around you. It could involve administrators or managers who set the tone, and at times these dates may feel somewhat forced. So with these people, it's pointless to argue or try to see a different trend. What's happening here is compressed and set in motion by the administrators or perhaps for the director. And this is the thread. In fact, over the next 3, 5, or even 10 years, this could mean a journey. And the passion itself doesn't manifest in the sign. Leo, in the sign of such a strong third leader, can set a trend in your career, a trend for your self-realization in the coming year. And if we look at the whole of July, there are basically 3 career directions here. The first direction is connected to intellectual tasks, learning, and acquiring new knowledge. This is what happened on the 10th and what happened on the 21st. There's a second trend connected with supporting people, loving people. That's what I meant on the 14th and 15th. And there's a third career aspect that plays out here on the 24th and 25th, which is connected to these 3 themes of love, with which we boldly move forward and pursue some new goals and objectives. After all, each of these key events I mentioned can really draw you in. You might be left out or not have your chart activated, so use the service below the video, enter your birth details, and the relevant event will be highlighted for you. These events are general, but the strength of their influence on you can vary. And so, to clarify from these aspects, you can look at the 10th house when it's bold and daring, new career opportunities, a major career trend, and here on the 24th and 25th, something happens and this gets activated. Saturn, even though not fully, is also working in the 6th house. This is also about career. Most likely, this new moon will bring a strong new career beginning, which will continue to develop over the coming years. It will intensify, open up, and develop more and more. Basically, that's all for now. Again, there are also analyses for your specific birth date. You can find them in the private channel. Here, all the benefits of the sponsorship are listed, what opportunities, what advantages, and bonuses are available there. The main thing we've done there over the past month or 2 is create charts where you can view the whole week, month, or even the entire year. You can see the big picture, for example, on the yearly chart, or focus on the smaller picture for the week. The charts really draw attention to the situation. Your personal aspects are unique to you because here I'm talking about general things that sound the same for everyone. But the level of influence will differ in personal forecasts, which are based on your birth data. Those are also available, but not in the video access. Those are the main ideas. If it's easier, just write down 1 month, look at 100, plus it's useful. And you yourself will be amazed by the amount of interesting information that's there. On the channel, on the other hand, you'll be able to assess what needs to be done and whether you're ready to use your subscription every month. That's all for now. Thank you for your attention and have a great month.